What up, guys? Craig here. Fergie Time. Today, I have an awesome episode. I've got Mr. Karnage. Will I Am is on the show, and he's going to just talk about a YouTube series he's doing with his buddy Marvin, Hell and Back. He's going to talk about his shop, Karnage Motorsports, and just how he got into wheeling and all that fun stuff. So I'm excited for it. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, guys, Craig here, Fergie Time, and I've got the man, Mr. Will, Mr. Angry Grill Smasher, Mr. Karnage, Mr. Hell and Back. Dude, I'm pumped. I'm excited that we were able to make this work. Yeah, thanks for joining, man.
No, man. Actually, first of all, thank you for inviting me, and then also, I'm sorry that I know it's been a couple of weeks of, dude, when are we doing this? But I've been slammed, dude. Happy about being so busy, but also shit, you know what I mean? Trying to make the time, it's important too.
Speaking of time, I mean, so right now in Colorado, it's like 9:30, and you're in Miami, so it's 11:30 at night. And I know you were working in the garage. And talk to me about Karnage Garage, man. Is that your what is Karnage Garage?
Well, Karnage Motorsports. Karnage Motorsports is my shop.
Okay. Okay.
And I started working on vehicles since I was in high school. I've always liked cars since I was a kid. And I started the shop in 2011 officially with my brother. So as official, start up Karnage Motorsports as a business. Karnage Motorsports LLC. But prior to that, we started in my dad's garage pretty much. So our friend group, or my group of friends, we all had cars at 16. And we would work on them at my dad's house because, it was the only one with a two-car garage. And it got to the point where we had my YJ parked outside with no engine. My brother's Cherokee would have the suspension turn apart, and then we had a friend's Toyota also in pieces. But where we live is it's not really a place where it's not out in where you have acres of land to do this stuff. It's a main road, so people eventually HOA was dude, this is what the heck is going on here. So my dad, after a couple letters, was dude, you guys gotta move your shit to somewhere else. So we ended up renting a warehouse. The warehouse was kind of our own thing, just a place for us to work on our own vehicles. And after I finished my YJ, I did 44 front, 6 rear, 40s, and it was a 4-cylinder Jeep that I bought. That was a turd, but it was a one that was driving it around, and then one day some guy randomly pulled me and he's like, "Hey, dude, who build your Jeep? I want to build my YJ." So I ended up doing some work for him, and then he sent me his cousin, and just little by little, I got a small clientele, and I was doing lift is for $150. You know what I mean? Now we escalate the business where we charge a little bit more than that. But yeah, man, that's how we started.
That's awesome. So you just started that just straight from school?
I went to a magnet school called Miami Lakes Tech, and one of the classes elective was automotive. I learned some of the basic mechanics there, and then I went to a Jeep Beach event. And I met the people from TNT Customs, Bob and Mary. And after hanging out with them for a whole week, they offered me a job in Wyoming. So I moved to Wyoming. The shop was already officially started, but I mean, I had 10 clients. So my brother stayed in Miami with all the friends, and they used the warehouse to work on their own stuff. And I moved there for a year, and I learned a ton, dude. A lot of the stuff that when I started, what I learned was a lot from there. What I learned from Bob and Mary, building Jeeps, manufacturing parts, running the business. So I learned a lot of the basics. I was there only for a year, but I came back because my mom she got really sick from cancer. So I decided to move back to Miami. And then that's when I officially started Karnage Motorsports.
So you were in Wyoming for a year?
Yeah, I was the only brown person
that's
there.
Different than Miami.
Very different. Cowboy boots and people carrying just open carrier. That's something I was, used to, but it was fun. I was so close to Colorado. I used to go to Colorado a lot. In 2012, I bought the white JK, which was my first JK, and I would go to some baby trails. I mean, the Jeep was stock, and then I did some local wheeling, and I went to South Dakota, and with TNT customers, I became really good friends with some of them. So I go as a passenger with them, and they had pretty built Jeeps at the time.
So Karnage Motorsports, is it just a garage, or do you have a racing
shop,
team?
No, so so sometimes I find it hard to believe that people still don't see that on social media, but Karnage Motorsport is an official business. That is how I make my living. We have a full-blown shop. We do regular stuff from oil changes, tire rotations, and we do full-blown builds. Right now we have like Marvin's Jeep, for example, where we're building the whole suspension. We have 5 techs, and then we have a sales guy, we have a shop manager. So we scale the shop from my dad's garage to a full-blown business.
Man, that's awesome. What is Marvin's Jeep?
The Jeepster, it's the guy from Flex Rocks Rollovers. So it's a 1978 Jeepster that he built 7 years ago with a shop in Oklahoma, and they did an amazing job. Like, they built the body, you've seen pictures of it. So the body is all custom. The frame is from a TJ, but it's been heavily modified, and the suspension was built pretty nice. But after 7 years of hard wheeling, it was time for an upgrade. And like 7 years passed, and a lot of new stuff came out. So that's pretty much, we're kind of like revamping, I guess you would say.
So what is your Jeep?
Mine is a 2015 JK, 4-door at the moment, and right now it has no motor. I blew the motor at the 24 head and back, and it's just sitting right now on 1-ton axles and a suspension. Just every day it gets forklift out, forklift in.
Dude, I watched the drifting one. That was cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I used to do drifting for a while. There's a time that I got a bit burnt out from doing Jeeps, and I got a Mustang and I started doing drifting, and I actually like drifting more than Jeeping. But drifting is a very expensive hobby. I don't think that's something I would want to get into building for people, because it's not as enjoyable then. I kind of just like doing the drifting part.
So you got Karnage Motorsports, and then you met Marvin, and then you start doing the 24 hell and back videos, or Flex?
No, so
how did
Marvin
that all go?
So Marvin and I have known each other for 14 years. We met at he went for the first time. His first event that he did back then was with Axel. So I don't know if you heard of Axel helmets. The pink helmet, the brand Axel. So when he moved to the States, he started doing like the vendor shows for his dad. And he went to an event in Florida, which was off-roading back then. And that was also my first event as Karnage Motorsports. So we kind of met up, hang out. We became really good friends. And then 14 years later, here we are. It's a lot more than that, but
Dude, those videos that you guys do, like, they're awesome. It's probably my favorite YouTube channel, hands down.
I'm happy to be part of the channel. Like, he brought me on board last year. But dude, he's been doing that for 6 years. Like, Marvin's YouTube channel, it's his company. You know what I mean? It's not just a YouTube channel. It is a YouTube channel, but it is a business. Like, that's all he does is YouTube, and he's very passionate about making like Netflix quality videos. So he's really, him and his team are really good at building that. He's been building that throughout the years. Like this last head and back, and Marvin, when you watch this, don't kill me, I believe it's the 5th or 6th one. It's actually the 5th Flex Rocks, the 5th 24 head and back. I was part of the first one, and then he did a couple other ones. So he does West Coast 1 year, East Coast 1 year, and this was a fun one, pretty gnarly one too.
Is that where you blew your motor?
Yeah. So I rolled there. I sent it, and then.
So is that the one you landed on your side?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I saw that. So what's, I guess besides that one, what's the like one of the worst moments on those trips?
Oh, I mean, the funny thing is I didn't even blow a motor from flipping. It was after. I guess it just started from oil. I was pretty hard on the motor. I'm pretty hard on equipment as just in general. That would be my third motor on that Jeep. So I was like, I'm not putting a Ford motor in this thing. So I pulled everything out, so the good parts, and then I have all the parts to swap the LS in it. We've been so busy at the shop, dude. I don't have time to work on my own Jeep.
So you're gonna put a LS in it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I bought a 2005 Silverado with a 6.0 and a manual transmission, because I really want to go manual on that. That Jeep right now is an automatic. All my Jeeps have been manual except for this one, and I'm doing a 6.0 MV4500. I'm not sure on the traffic is yet, and I want to do either a supercharger or a turbo, but I want to be on boost as well.
Wow. So you're gonna go manual?
Yeah, but I think the extra challenge of a manual to me it feels like more of a driving experience with a manual than automatic. An automatic is drive and with a manual you have to actually drive. So it's more fun.
So have you done any snow wheeling?
I have, yeah. I have in Colorado and Tennessee.
Do they ever do like a hell and back in the snow? I haven't seen one in the snow, but
no, I don't think any of the events, like for example the one weekend that we did it in Tennessee, the last one, like he was hoping it was gonna be super cold, and it actually wasn't. So he's actually had always really good weather during the 24 head and back, which is pretty cool. But like East Coast, if it was raining, it would be like impossible. Some of those obstacles, there's just no grip, even with stickies and like LS motors. So he has a 24 head and back, which is like one of the series, and then the new one we're doing, which is more of a multi-day kind of thing, where it's like off-roading, camping, and then some road. It's called Hell and Back Adventure. So we did that one with Thomas, and that was in Utah, and then we did it on the East Coast with Max from Rock Jog.
Oh wow!
And that's the one we did the water crossing and all of that. That was 5 days of wheeling and camping and.
So 24 Hell and Back. Are you actually legit wheeling for 24 hours in a row?
Yeah, dude. Like it's you start.
Oh my gosh, dude!
And it's non-stop for 24 hours.
And you stay awake that whole 24 hours?
You have to. If you don't stay awake, you get a pink helmet.
I like how you guys share the pink helmet. That's fun.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
Fun.
It's a good concept.
So in your garage, like, what's some of the cooler builds you've done?
So we have this build called Picante. It's an LJ that we put for one of our really good friend and customer. His name is Robert. His Instagram is 5G Life. So I've shared some of the stuff. He's the guy that like rolled the JL in Moab a couple of years back. So he built this LJ from scratch. It was already built on Spicer axles, just factory motor, 42s. It was on coil springs. It was a pretty well built Jeep, but it was very on coil springs. It was pretty maybe basic, but it worked really well. And then that Jeep, he had it on a battery tender and it caught fire. So the Jeep burned not bad enough where he needed like a lot of stuff. So he ended up getting a new frame, and then we ordered a whole rock color suspension, center section, and then everything else we did from scratch. So the tower, so it has 14-inch coilovers all around. We did a 6.0, 480 Atlas, and that project took almost 2 years getting it done.
Wow.
Because it was kind of hard to get parts at the time when we built it. So it was a little waiting around, and then he got the body like custom painted, and that took almost like 4 months. So it was a long project, but it's super cool Jeep.
So what is the ultimate build in your eyes, if money's no issue?
Man, that's a question that's hard to answer, right? Because it depends what you want the vehicle for. But ideally, you want, in my opinion, something like my favorite vehicle has always been the two-door JK. I think the JK platform is honestly the best one for like a build. TJs are cool, especially for like East Coast wheeling where it's narrower and it's lighter. But the JK is just, first it's really comfortable, you know, like spacious and stuff like that. Has a lot of aftermarket. The frame is stronger. And I think a two-door JK, maybe even like a stretch body JK that has a nice suspension, like a 113 wheelbase, 115 wheelbase. Maybe the gas tank on the bottom, so you don't have a fuel cell. And just that, so pretty much a JKL is what they call them. Well, I think will be like the perfect rig. Size-wise on 42s or 44-inch tires, LS, manual.
What about the axles?
14 bolts front and rear, all day.
Yeah. So when people are building their build to wheel and rock crawl, do extreme stuff, what's the one part people overlook?
I think safety. I think a cage is something that gets overlooked a lot. I mean, because building your Jeep, in my opinion, for what I've seen, these people are, half of it is like making it look cool, and then the other half is like making it look capable or be capable. But then people overlook a cage, you know, for example, and that's something that I rather have a Jeep on 44 axles and 37s and a cage than a Jeep on 1 tons, 42s and a cage. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you could have a really capable Jeep, but then if you don't have a cage, you're limited to not being able to do cool obstacles. And if you do the cool obstacles and you roll, then you could maybe die, and that's kind of there's no coming back from that one.
I don't know. What do you think about the sport cages? Am I dumb, or is that?
No, I mean, sport cages are good. I mean, anything that's better than the stock one, anything that you add to the stock one is better. But the JK cage is honestly like shit metal. It's not that strong. Adding a sport cage is better than not having a cage at all. But then, like for example, a motorbuild cage or generate cage, they're also really good. But people also overlook like putting a helmet on. You know what I mean? Like that's also another thing. Like having a good roll cage and not having your harness correctly, and then not having the helmet is also as bad, because you might not get crushed, but if you hit your head on the tube really hard, you could also get hurt really bad. You know what I mean? So like,
you wear a helmet when you wheel all the time?
When I'm gonna do something stupid, I put a helmet. So if I'm not go stupid, I go full stupid, and I just put the helmet and look extra stupid. But at least I won't, you know. And it's funny, but dude, yeah, like that's something that gets overlooked a lot is safety.
What's the one mod that people get and you're just like, oh, that's dumb. You don't need that.
Light bars, like it's just it drives me nuts. But like, and listen, like I get if you have a built Jeep and you want like a light bar because they do look cool. Like the Casey light bar looks badass, and like there's a couple other brands like Ridges makes badass light bars. Because like people come with stock Jeeps to my shop, like stock, not even like the tires are bold, and they're like, oh, how much is a light bar? It's like, dude, you can even use that on the road. Like, you know, you're gonna get pulled over for using it on the road. So at least get a headlight. You know what I mean? Like to me, light bar is the first dumbest upgrade that people do, and then the angry grill that just drives me nuts.
So the angry grill. So your reel that you did is hilarious. I saw it the other day. You have like 4 million views.
Yeah, it went viral. It was very unexpected.
So how much hate did you get for that?
Not a lot, to be honest. A lot of people actually were supportive of it. Some people were like, oh my God, like you could have sold it. Oh my God, like why do you care what people put on their Jeep? But the thing is, there's a lot of Jeepers, right? And like, it's cool. Like I think Jeeping itself it brings a lot of people together. You get to meet new people. It's a lifestyle. It's kind of like Harley Davidson, right? Like it's like that, and that's super cool about it. But then like, the more comfortable the Jeep have gotten, like the JL, for example, you know, like now you could almost compare a JL to like, I'm gonna get flamed for this, but like a 392 fully loaded Jeep is the same price range as a Range Rover. It doesn't drive like a Range Rover, you know, but like people that are like, oh, you know, I want to buy a nice Jeep, and then they buy that Jeep and then they get into the Jeeping stuff, but they're not really Jeepers, and that's the thing. Like the new Jeeps have bring a lot of people that are not true enthusiasts of what a Jeep is. You know, like back in the day, Jeeps were, and by back in the day, I mean like TJs and older. It was either you were a true Jeeper and you knew you were driving a bucket to work, or B, you had a built Jeep that was built for Jeeping, or you had your, I don't know, Camry. I mean, you had a little Jeep to drive around town with no top. Like it was like very specific Jeep owners. But as you got a Jeep with cruise control and all of these other stuff, then you got all these kind of posers into it. And some of those people do turn into real Jeepers. Like, I don't expect people to like just randomly like, oh, I'm gonna be a Jeeper because, you know, like some people just discover this hobby and they get into it really good, and some people just kind of like going to Jeep meets and making friends and putting dogs on people, which super cringe. And I think it's a motorsport that you grow into more. You know what I mean? And I don't expect everybody to be like a hardcore Jeeper. Let's go rock crawling, but like there's so much more to Jeepers than angry grills, parking lots, and light bars and dogs. And that's kind of like why some Jeepers just drive me nuts when they are just, I'm a Jeeper, and it's like, do you have ducks in your dash and you go to a parking lot? You're not a Jeeper.
So is that what you would call a inFOOLencers?
No, so the word influencer, I kind of came up with that word, and I don't know if somebody's come up with it before, but I think it's funny. I don't like to be called an influencer, and I don't like to consider myself an influencer, even though Marvin's like, bro, you are an influencer, right? But the thing is, as a shop owner, I don't like to sell people stuff that I wouldn't put in my own Jeep, right? So if I influence anybody's put stuff that's good quality, usually I like stuff that's made in USA, unless nobody else makes it, you get what you get. But it's like, I have brands that I won't name, but that have offered me like free parts or free anything, and I'm like, no, I'm good, because I don't want to put like free tires on my Jeep that I know they suck because they're free, and then tell a customer, no, just you buy this other brand because it's better. But then they're gonna be like, well, but you run this, and then I don't want to tell people, no, run this is the best tire, and it's not, because then I feel like that loses a lot of your own credibility, for example. So
you're not out there pimping like the mini vacuums or
no, I mean
torque like, wrenches or
some brands that are not like necessarily Jeep parts have offered or have wanted to work, especially now that I'm doing stuff with Marvin. They've offered like, oh, we want you to like try this tools or this equipment, and I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna use that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna like, hey, you should try this wrench, it's the best. No, bro, like, it's not my thing, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes some of the stuff I use sometimes is mostly to troll because it's funny, and I make fun of influencers. But it's like, once again, there's not to call out anybody, but influencers that sit in front of the camera and say, this tire is the best tire you ever buy. And then 6 months later, no, this is the best tire. And then 6 months later, no, this is the best tire. He's like, bro, no one believes you anymore. Like, it's clear that you get this for free. It's clear that you don't really have a spine, and that's why you run whatever is free. And it's just funny. That's why it's an influencer. It's a fool.
Yeah.
Like, you're a fool, bro. Like, stick to a brand. Like, I buy my own tires. Like, I'm sponsored by Mickey Thompson, for example, and I really like that tire. And
I was gonna say, what is the best tire?
I don't think that there's such thing as honestly, the best tire, in my opinion, is the Super Swamper SX. Like, that tire is badass. But on a 43, like, you need like a real drivetrain to survive. And then if you have the drivetrain, you also need a motor, because they're big tires. They're big boy tires. And then I also like to run stuff, like I said, that I would recommend to a customer. I would know, even if I wasn't a sponsor, I wouldn't tell a customer, hey, run Super Swampers for a daily driver, best tire ever. Because it's like, I'm not gonna send this banker down the street with sticky tires down the road, and drive his Jeep is gonna drive like ass. So I wouldn't want to do that. So I like to run tires like DOT, and like, now Mickey came out with like stickies, and I also like Maxis, for example. But those are two brands that I'm gonna try something else that we also sell at our shop. They finally came out with a size that works for what I was looking, so I'm gonna switch to Nidos. No, I'm not getting any kind of sponsorship. I just want to try them out. I've had them before, but I am kind of walking from the other tires just because certain people or certain influencers, I don't want to be associated with them. So I just kind of like, let me do my own thing.
Being in Miami, your shop's in Miami. Like, what kind of clientele comes into your shop?
So we have
because there's no wheeling in Miami, right? I mean,
there isn't any wheeling, but as an off-road shop, so we have the first clients that we have, which are the most common one, is people that have Jeeps and they just need a reliable shop that's going to take care of the maintenance, that they know how to diagnose a Jeep and keep the Jeep on the road. So that's like our main customer. Then we have customers that they do very light off-roading, and there is off-roading in Florida, but it's like 5-6 hours. And it's nothing crazy. But then we also organize events to go to like Windrock, or like, Tennessee or Georgia, Alabama, and all the way to Utah. So we organize these trips, take people like, tell them, hey, this is where we're going, and then they kind of like tag along. And then we take care of them in the sense of like teaching them how to use the Jeep. We spot them. So I've been doing this for a couple of years.
I saw on your page you guys do like a off-roading 101 course or something.
Yeah, so that we launched it this year, and we're doing like classes at the shop. They're totally free. We do it for a couple of Jeep clubs that are local, and we kind of like, just the basics. We've done a recovery class when I flip my Jeep on the parking lot, kind of like show them how to recover. Then we did a 101, and then in a couple of weeks we're doing a more like off-road class, kind of like basics, what you should have in your vehicle, like the basics of before the trip, after the trip, how to are down, why you are down, like all the little basic things. So we kind of been doing that.
What's the closest wheeling to you? I saw there was something like Jeeping with Judd or something. Is that
Jeeping with Judd? Yeah, it's sure. Let's call that wheeling. It's it's a field that has a couple obstacles here and there. They have a rock pile, but it's cool. Look, like it's the closest thing you have. Like, when you want to go wheeling, and the closest real wheeling we have is like a park called River Rock, and then we have Morris Mountain, and both are a 12-hour drive each way.
Oh my god!
So it's not like you could go on a weekend, like, oh, let me just take Friday off, go drive. Like we've done it. We leave Friday morning, get there at night, afternoon, unload, whatever. We'll Saturday, Sunday, and drive back Monday. But dude, like, it's killer. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I complain about having to go 4 hours.
Imagine. Yeah, I know. When people complain about that, it's like, oh, it sucks. I have to drive 2 hours to a trail. It's like, oh, it must suck.
So if you could put together the most extreme off-road challenge for Jeepers, what would it include? Like, what kind of terrain, obstacles, time limits?
Bro, honestly, like, there's nothing I could put together like that. I think Marvin already did it. He already like hit it right on.
That's
right
like the hell and back.
Dude, like, because it's the last one. There was a lot of rock bouncers. Like, a rock bouncer right next to an Ultra 4 is like the ultimate off-road vehicle capable, etc. But then being able to stay up for 24 hours and then try these obstacles, that's the challenge. So it's more of a, the driver and machine, because you also need to make sure your vehicle lasts that long. Clearly, my Jeep didn't. So it takes a lot, you know what I mean?
Well, the one I watched, and I think it was the one where you rolled, Bleepin' Jeep was with you, and he broke something, and like he had to hike back to camp
Back to
or
his
the
trailer and then get the parts and go back. So that alone is a huge challenge.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine. That's crazy. What's the worst recovery situation you've been in?
It was like 2-3 years ago. Was it 3? It was like 2-3 years ago. We went to Moab, and actually we were just talking about it earlier today with Robert. We did Hills Revenge at night, and Hills Revenge at night can be scary because like the trail is like,
dude, during the day it's scary.
I mean, during the day it's fun, especially if you put like a time, like you got to make it in this you just fly through it. But we were doing it at night, and then I kind of told him it was like a little short ride. It ended up being like I ended up doing the whole trail. But when we went down Mickey's hot tub, so I went down at an angle, so my Jeep kind of like went down, and then I just kind of rolled through it and went back out. I mean, it's not a hard obstacle if you go straight into it, but if you go sideways, the Jeep gets pretty tippy. So then Robert tried to follow the same line, and he didn't realize how steeper it was that way. So he kind of just tapped the brake, and the whole Jeep just went forward, and like on the bumper, like did this and like ended up on his roof. So we had to use, I think it was 4 winches to get it back up, then back down from the back while winching the top, because it was like just stuck on the rock. So it required like a lot of like critical thinking to get that thing out of there.
Are you a night wheeling fan?
I used to be, but I think night wheeling, like anything after dark, bro, is when things go south and quick.
Like, why? Because you can't see, or your mental state's just different?
It's just like night wheeling. Night wheeling is fun, but like usually by night people are tired. Visibility is like really bad, even if you have a bunch of lights, and it's easy to make a mistake, and usually you never go night wheeling to an easy trail. It's like, we're gonna go all out, we go all out, and then you go into the hardest trail you can find for the day, and that's usually how things go south quick.
Any cool places you still want to hit?
So I would like to go to the Rubicon this year. The Rubicon is the Rubicon and the Hammers. I haven't never been there, not even just walking. Like I've been to San Diego, but that's about it. And I want to go to New Mexico. I want to wheel Las Cruces. There's a lot of waterfalls, like pretty gnarly obstacles. That's like my next. In that order, it will be New Mexico, and then Hammers, and then the Rubicon. It's not really a challenge in the sense like it's not super hard. Like I've seen the stock Rubicon can do it, but like definitely going there is like on my bucket list. It's really pretty out there.
Are you gonna race at Hammers or just wheel?
It's one of my goals. It's just mentally and financially, I don't think I'm there. But I'm working towards that goal. Like I want to race King of Hammers. That is one of my goals. I want to build my own car and then go race it, and then show them how Miami does it out there.
What class would you do?
I mean, if like you out there, if money was not an issue, I'll do the limited class. But I'll probably do 4400.
Right on. Rapid fire questions. Ready?
Ready.
This would be good for hell and back. What's the ultimate off-road snack that would keep you from losing your minds?
Marvin, for example, like he loves Lunchables, and I think they're so lame. I almost would rather stop and grill something real quick. But if it has to be a snack, a Red Bull and then salt and vinegar chips.
Oh, I like salt and vinegar chips. What is the funniest prank? I have a feeling you're a prankster. What's the funniest prank someone's either played on you or you've done to somebody else?
So I guess the funniest, when I was new to Jeep, I just bought that JK I told, that 2012 JK. They put a bunch of zip ties on my drive shaft. So when I started driving down the road, it was like cling, 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 cling. So I was going crazy. I didn't know much about. I knew, but not enough to like. So I knew it was coming from the bottom. I was like, bro, what the? And it was after like a hard day of wheeling. So the next day I was making the noise. I was driving me nuts. So then, as a payback, I got a sticky waist. When you balance the wheel, like the wheel waist on and I put them in his drive shaft. And I actually put so many that when he started driving down the road, it didn't make a noise, and he didn't even know. Like you couldn't even feel the vibration as bad. but he actually messed up his axles, the seal, because the drive shaft was just moving so much.
Oh no!
So yeah, I felt pretty bad at that one. And then a friend with a TJ, I opened his hood, and I jumped the brake relay to the horn. So every time he hit the brake, the horn would go. So he couldn't figure it out. He was like beep beep. He's like, what the heck is going on? So that's probably like on my top of the pranks I've done.
If you had to change your name, what would you change it to? Mr. Will I Am.
People are gonna laugh at this one, bro. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. So I guess like I don't know, Goku or Gohan or something like that.
So that goes to my next one. If you could switch lives with a cartoon character for a day, who would it be?
Definitely Goku.
If there's a celebrity you'd want to be your co-pilot for a wheeling trip, who would it be?
Jennifer Aniston all day.
Dude, she's with Obama now. One word you'd want people to associate with you.
How do you say something? I don't know what to say. Like I want to keep it humble, but I also don't want to sound like a loser. Like you know what I mean?
Well,
I guess Karnage. There you go. That's it. That one word. Karnage.
Yeah. There you go. If your life had a theme song, what song would it be?
I think it depends a lot of the mood, but if I had one, probably Fuel by Metallica.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. Like I feel like I'm always going on full throttle. Like just wake up, work, get stuff done, get ready for the next thing. Come back from the next thing and then get ready for the next thing, and it's just always like full throttle. That's actually the shop slogan, is going at it full throttle.
Well, you definitely do, man, because you're like freaking working till what time does the shop close? 8, 9?
No, so the shop opens 9 to 6, but I'm there 7:30, 8 to 8, 9 p.m. sometimes.
Wow, you love it though?
I love it. I like to say that I don't think I've worked in a long time because and obviously like there's bad days, there's stressful days between the techs, dealing with them or customers or stuff like that. But ultimately, bro, like I just really love what I do.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for hanging out. We got it in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's what time is it here? It's 12:20. Yeah, that was a while.
Man. Well, we'll go to bed and yeah, dude. I just thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it, and I hope I get to wheel with you sometime. When you come out through, if you hit Moab or something, definitely let me know. And all right, guys, that was fun. I definitely want to wheel with Will, and maybe not Will and Marvin, because I would definitely get stuck. But I definitely want to wheel with them, and yeah, they're just doing awesome, crazy stuff, and I hope you got something from that show. Definitely check their links. I'll throw everything in the description, and just thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Later.